Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected brothers and sisters, welcome to our weekly class on the explanation of the book of fasting from Bulugh al-Maram in the Dilat al-Ahkam by Shaykh al-Imam al-Hafidh ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullahu ta'ala rahmatan wasi'a. So our Ramadan timetable is slightly different. So instead of Fridays and Saturdays, we will be doing our dars inshallah on Saturdays and Tuesdays for the remainder of Ramadan. So that is a total of inshallah I think 7 or 8 lessons. So every Saturday and every Tuesday, and the time will be 5 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Saudi time, which is 2 p.m. UK time. So today, inshallah ta'ala, we will take 2 hadith, I believe 2 or 3, and they are all connected to the issue of an-niyya, intention. Intention in fasting, whether it is fasting which is obligatory or fasting which is voluntary. So our next hadith is an Hafsa, al-Mu'mineen radiyallahu anha, on the authority of Hafsa, who of course is the mother, one of the mothers of the believers, radiyallahu ta'ala anha, the daughter of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anh. And in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam qal, that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, man lam yubayyit as-siyama qabla al-fajr fala siyama lahu. Whosoever does not make the intention to fast at night before Fajr, then there is no fasting for him. Fala siyama lahu. Rawahu al-Khamsa. It's been reported by al-Khamsa, and as I mentioned last lesson, that when Ibn Hajar rahimahullah says in Bulugh al-Maram rawahu al-Khamsa, he means al-Imam Ahmad in addition to the four Sunan: Abu Dawood, at-Tirmidhi, an-Nasa'i wa Ibn Majah. Wa mala an-Nasa'i wa Tirmidhi ila tarjih waqfihi. As for an-Nasa'i, from these 5, an-Nasa'i and at-Tirmidhi, they are more inclined to saying that this hadith is mawquf. This hadith is mawquf, and also we mentioned that before, mawquf, marfu and mawquf. Marfu is that which is to the Prophet ﷺ, mawquf is that which stops at the Sahabi. So Imam an-Nasa'i and Imam at-Tirmidhi, they incline towards the opinion that this particular narration, it is the statement of Hafsa herself radiyallahu anha, and not the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَصَحَّحَهُ مَرْفُوعًا Ibn Khuzaymah wa Ibn Hibban. As for Ibn Khuzaymah and Ibn Hibban, then both of them, they said that this hadith, in fact, it is marfu'. It is marfu' to an-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَلِلدَّارَقُطْنِي. And then Ibn Hajar mentions another narration by Imam ad-Daraqutni, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La siyama liman lam yafridhu min al-layl." There is no fasting for the one who doesn't make it obligatory upon himself, min al-layl, during the night. Tayyib. So the first thing is about the authenticity of these 2 narrations. Then, as we have just briefly mentioned, that this hadith is been reported marfu' and it's been reported mawquf. And then the scholars of hadith have differed which one is the stronger one, which one is more authentic. Is it the one that is marfu' to the Prophet sallam, or is it mawquf to Hafsa radiyallahu anha? But what there is no doubt about that this hadith, as al-Imam an-Nawawi also mentions in al-Majmu', this hadith, it is yani sahih. It's isnad, it is sahih, and it's been reported by many different, through several different chains of narrations. Tayyib. And also our Shaykh al-Imam al-Albani rahimahullah, he's declared to be authentic marfu'an. He said the marfu', he said that this is authentically, this is sahih, going all the way back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So inshallah this hadith is authentic. And then this hadith has also been reported mawqufan by Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma, as is mentioned in the Muwatta of Imam Malik, and also it is reported by Imam al-Nasa'i in al-Sunan, and it's been reported by al-Bayhaqi in Sunan al-Kubra. All of them have reported authentically that this is also a statement of Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma, who said, إذا لم يجمع الرجل الصوم من الليل فلا يصم. If a person doesn't make the intention to fast from the night, then he shouldn't fast. Now, and it's also been reported from the statements of Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, again by Imam Malik in his Muwatta and Imam Nasa'i in his Sunan. And then the second narration here is by Imam ad-Daraqutni, La siyama liman lam yafridhu min al-layl. There is no fasting for the one who doesn't obligate it upon himself from the night, min al-layl. So in the first narration it said qabla al-fajr, before fajr, and in this the by Imam Daraqutni, he mentions min al-layl. So this is just another hadith to support the hadith of qabla al-fajr. It's perhaps more explicit. The first one says before fajr, the second one says during the night. So it's just yani giving that additional information, and in fact it's more explicit. Before fajr, during the night is more explicit than before fajr. Because during the night can mean the whole night from maghrib until fajr. Tayyib. So that is concerning the authenticity of this hadith. So it's sahih. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Man lam yubayyit as-siyam qabla al-fajr fala siyama lahu. Man lam yubayyit. Yani whoever doesn't make the intention to fast before fajr. Same as the one in the next narration, liman lam yafridhu, yani lam yanwihi. So both of them mean who doesn't make the intention to fast. Okay, because bata yabitu bayatan, bata yabitu bayatan, it means something that happens at night. Bayatan, it means laylan, night. So man lam yubayyit as-siyam, and whosoever doesn't make the intention at night before fajr. Now, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Surah Al-A'raf, afa amina ahl al-qura an ya'tiyahum ba'suna bayatan wa hum na'imun. Do the people of the towns and the cities feel safe that our punishment comes to them bayatan, at night, wa hum na'imun, whilst they are sleeping? So this is something that happens at night. فَلَا صِيَامَ لَهُ يعني فَلَا صِيَامَ صَحِيحٌ لَهُ. His fasting is not correct. His fasting is not correct. So if he decides to fast, then the fasting is not correct and is not accepted. طيب. So this hadith, dear brothers and sisters, it talks about the hukm of the niyyah, the ruling of a niyyah, intention for fasting. Hukm niyyah, intention for fasting. طيب. It very clearly shows us that it's obligatory to have intention to fast, just like it is obligatory to have an intention to to perform any act of worship. Yes, so niyyah, intention, is a condition for the correctness of all types of worship. As the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. That indeed actions and deeds are by intentions, and for every person he shall have that which he intended. So this hadith is very clear, very clearly shows that for any act of worship to be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it must be based upon an intention. And this is something which is an ijma'. Yes, that your fasting will not be correct unless it is based on an intention. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. So for your fasting to be correct, you must have an intention. Okay, and then in this hadith, what did the Prophet ﷺ say? مَنْ لَمْ يُبَيِّتَ السِّيَامِ. Yes, whoever doesn't make the intention to fast before Fajr, there is no fasting for him. So the hadith of Umar radiyallahu an, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. This shows you that you must have an intention. And this hadith that we are studying now from Bulugh al-Maram, the hadith of Hafsa radiyallahu anha, what does that show you? That shows you that the intention must cover the entire day, from the time of Fajr until Ghurub al-Shams. So must be an intention, and the intention must be from Fajr all the way to Ghurub al-Shams. Otherwise, your fasting is not correct. Your fasting is not correct. طيب. So an-niyyah, okay, that's a good point, Muhammad Hussein, and inshallah we're going to come to that. This is one of the things that we are going to touch on. There's actually quite a few things that we need to talk about when it comes to intention, okay? And that is one of the things, so inshallah I will come to it soon. طيب, so intention is of two types. Intention is of two types. So basically, to put it, what you have to do is, in your heart, you have to make an intention that you are fasting Ramadan as an act of worship. That's it. Because people can fast for different reasons. Because this is a specific type of fasting. It is a specific time. It's the month of Ramadan, then it is from dawn until sunset. And then on top of that, people can fast for different reasons, as we mentioned before, worldly reasons, Yes. So you basically make an intention in your heart that you are fasting Ramadan for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, to seek His pleasure, and it's an act of worship. You're doing it ta'abbudan lillah, to worship Allah. Tayyib. So we have two intentions. First one, niyatul ma'muli lahu. Niyatu al-ma'muli lahu. Al-ma'muli lahu, who you're doing the action for. So that, of course, has to be pure. Yani this is the intention that the ulama at-tawheed and aqidah speak about. It's really touched upon in fiqh, because it's to do with the riya, showing off. Yani who are you doing the action for? And this, yani, if you don't do an act of worship for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, it's rejected, and it's shirk asghar, and it can become shirk akbar. That's one intention. It must be for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. The second intention is niyatul amal itself, the intention of the action itself, which the ulama call niyatul tamyizi wa ta'yin, the niyyah of yani differentiating and specifying, the niyyah of tamyiz and ta'yin. Yani it's the niyyah where you specify and where you differentiate between different acts of worship. Now, for example, you might enter the masjid after Fajr. Fajr adhan is gone. You enter the masjid. You pray 2 rakahs. Are you praying Tahiyatul Masjid, for example? Yes. Okay. Or what are you praying? Are you going to pray? Are you praying Sunnah or are you praying Fard? Huh? So you've entered the masjid and you've prayed 2 rakahs. Is this 2 rakahs your Fard or is it your Sunnatul Fajr? What will differentiate that is niyatul amal. It's the niyyah of the act itself. Okay, so we also must have that. We also must have that intention. Yes. Why? Because we need to differentiate between different acts of worship. For example, am I praying Dhuhr or am I praying Asr? Am I praying Fard or am I praying Nafal? Am I fasting Ramadan or am I fasting expiation, kafara? Am I fasting Sitta Shawwal or am I fasting the 3 white days? So it's tamyizul ibadat, to differentiate between different acts of worship, and it's tamyizul ibadat anil adat. It is to differentiate between that which is customarily, you do it out of ada, habitually. Is it habitual or is it an act of worship? For example, I could sit in the masjid between Dhuhr and Asr with the intention to please Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Yes. That I want to spend time in the masjid remembering Allah, waiting for the next prayer, to read the Quran, to attend a dars. Or am I just, it's a hot day, I'm just want to relax. The first one is an ibadah, the second one is an adah. Likewise, if I'm having a shower, am I doing it because I'm trying to remove janabah? Or am I doing it because it's hot and I'm trying to cool down? So intention, 2 types. Number 1, niyatu al-ma'mul lahu. Who are you doing this for? Yani this is called niyatu taqarrub. Niyatu at-taqarrub, in the niyyah of drawing close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second one is niyatul amal, the niyyah of the amal, yani niyatul tamyiz wa ta'yin. Okay, so both have to be there. Both have to be, of course, present. Otherwise, your siyam is not accepted. طيب. Now, but there's another issue here. And that issue is when it comes to obligatory fasting, do I have to, is it enough for me to say in my heart that I'm fasting a wajib fast? Or do I have to say, or do I have to specify it's a wajib and what kind of wajib it is? Okay, so firstly, you have to understand there's two types of wajib. Number one, wajib which doesn't have a specific time. Like for example, qada, making up missed days of Ramadan. Does it have a specific time? No. You can fast any day you want throughout the year. You don't have to fast on specific days. Huh? Also, for example, kafara, expiation. Let's say you violated your oath and you have to fast 3 days. Nah, it's obligatory. But there's no set time to fast those 3 days, yes? You can fast them on any day you want. So now, in this type of fasting, you have to specify. You have to, in your heart, not only do you make the intention that you're fasting an obligatory fast, but you have to make the intention what obligatory fast it is. Is it qada Ramadan? Is it nadar? Is it a kafara? What is it? So for this, you must do that. The second type of obligatory fasting is the one which has a specific fixed time, and that's Ramadan. That's Ramadan. So there's a difference of opinion. The Jumhur, the majority of ulama say yes. You cannot just say I'm fasting obligatory. You have to say I'm fasting obligatory. I'm fasting it's obligatory fast and it's Ramadan. You have to specify in your heart you're fasting Ramadan. Okay, that's the Jumhur. Some of the scholars, however, say no. It's enough for Ramadan just to have the intention in your heart that you're fasting an obligatory fast. Why? Because they say that Ramadan has no other time. You ask anybody in Ramadan, what are you fasting tomorrow? If somebody comes to Ramadan and says, I'm fasting tomorrow, are you going to think he's fasting Mondays and Thursdays? No. Automatically, you know he's fasting Ramadan because there is no other fasting when there is Ramadan. So you don't have to, it's not obligatory to make that intention that it's Ramadan. However, it is better. So even those scholars that say it's not obligatory, they say it's still better. So do it. I mean, what's the harm? Yes. What's the harm? We're just talking about a hukam here, whether it's obligatory or not. Although the majority say it's obligatory, any type of wajib fast. That's Ramadan, or qada or Ramadan, or kafarat, or nadar, any type of obligatory fasting, then you have to specify it, what it is in your heart. And that's inshallah the safer thing to do. Safer thing to do. Now, and as we have mentioned, that the place where the intention is made is in the heart, and we do not pronounce it. That is an innovation to pronounce the any intention upon your tongue. The place of the intention is in your heart. And it's a very simple issue. We don't go into ghulu, go into extreme regarding intentions. Now, so the fact that it's come to your mind that you are fasting tomorrow, khalas, you made the intention. What more do you want? The fact that you get up to eat sahur, khalas, you made the intention. Even if you make the preparation before you go to sleep to eat, yes, but you don't get up in time, you get up with the adhan of Fajr. It's enough. Now, just like if you hear the adhan, if you hear the adhan and you get up to make wudu, why are you doing all this? Because you've already made the intention in your heart that you are going to pray. Huh? So the affair of intention is that one which is very easy. Don't listen to people of bid'ah. Don't listen to the waswasa to shaitan. It's a very easy affair. The fact that you are doing certain things before an act of worship is an indication that you have already made an intention to do that act of worship. We don't need this any takalluf, this hardship and going to extremes. طيب. Okay. And at the moment, dear brothers and sisters, we're talking about the obligatory fast. Yes, this hadith is talking about the obligatory fasts. Ramadan, qada or Ramadan, kafarat, nudur. As for the voluntary fast, then we're going to take that in the next hadith, inshallah. Okay. Now, when do we make this intention? It's very clear in the hadith that and this is the opinion of the jumhur, the vast majority of the scholars. In fact, some of the scholars have even mentioned that it is ijma', that the niyyah has to be from the night. It cannot be once Fajr has kicked in. So once you hear if the adhan for Fajr goes and you have not yet made the intention to fast, then you have to make up that day again. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ said in this hadith, قبل الفجر. قبل الفجر, before Fajr. Look at the wording of the hadith. Let's read it again. Man lam yubayyit as-siyam. I told you what bata yabitu bayatan means. Yes, it means layl. So look, whoever doesn't make the intention at night, then the Prophet emphasized and said qabla al-fajr, before Fajr. Before Fajr. Yes, which shows you the entire night is the place to make the intention. Any time of the night, because qabla al-fajr refers to all periods of night. Okay, any time of night. And this is why in the next narration, in the narration Daraqutni, min al-layl, during the night. Yeah, so when you look at all these words together, it's very clear that the intention must be made at night before the adhan of Fajr, and that is after any time after sunset till the adhan of Fajr. You have to make the intention. Okay, because you have to fast from Fajr till Maghrib. So when Fajr starts, you have to already have made the intention. Because if you make the intention once Fajr starts, that means there's a very small period of time you didn't have intention to fast. So you weren't fasting. Even if it's 10, 15 seconds. You missed out. Because when the adhan went for Fajr, you should have had your intention already. And that cannot be achieved unless the Prophet said it's made before Fajr during the night. Yeah, so you have to make it before the adhan of Fajr. Otherwise, you have not fasted a complete day. You have not fasted a complete day. If you make your intention after Fajr, any time after Fajr, even if it's after a very small period of time, you will not have fasted the whole day, because your fasting will start when you make the intention. Yes? So if you make your intention late, you have started fasting late. Okay? Now, the next question what the brothers are asking in the chat is that, do we have to make the intention every night for each day that we fast, or is one intention at the beginning of Ramadan enough? So if I make intention on the first night of Ramadan that I am fasting the whole month of Ramadan, is that enough? Or do I have to make intention every single night for every single day? So obviously there is ikhtilaf bayn al-ulama. So some of the scholars, they hold the opinion that one intention is enough, as long as he doesn't break that intention. Like for example, by traveling, or he is sick, ill, and he doesn't fast those particular days, then he has to renew his intention. Or one of our sisters is menstruating for a number of days, then she has to renew her intention. So as long as if you do not break your intention is not affected by breaking the fast for a day or two, for a number of days due to a valid reason. If that is not the case, then your intention is valid from the beginning of Ramadan to the end of Ramadan. Why? Because they say fasting the month of Ramadan is considered a single act of worship. And this is the madhab of Imam Malik. It is also one of the narrations reported from Imam Ahmad. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, وَلِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى, and for everyone every person shall have what he intended. So this person, he intended to fast the whole of Ramadan. Because if you ask any person on the second or third day of Ramadan, yes, are you fasting tomorrow? What's he going to say to you? He's going to say to you, of course I'm fasting tomorrow. Why? Because he's already made the intention at the beginning of the month of Ramadan. And this is, inshallah, the correct opinion. Except in one case. Except in a case if a person, he has the option to fast and to not fast. For example, someone is ill or someone is traveling. Yes, he has an intention. He has the option to fast tomorrow or not to fast. Yes. So for example, let's say someone's traveling for 3 days in Ramadan. So even with this opinion that one intention is enough at the beginning of Ramadan, the scholars say except in one case, or two cases if you like. The first we've mentioned, if you've broken your intention by traveling or you're ill or menstruating or the likes, yeah, then you have to renew your intention. The second is if you have the option to fast or not to fast. Like for example, someone's traveling 3 days. Now each of the day he's traveling, he has an option. He can fast the next day or he can choose not to fast. In this case, all the scholars, they say that he must make his intention every night. He make his intention every night before Fajr. Okay, even the Malikiyya, everyone here is agreed. So there's no difference of opinion here. All right, so that's one opinion. The other opinion is that every night you must make an intention, and this is in fact the opinion of the Jumhur, the majority, Abu Hanifa, Ash-Shafi'i and Ahmad. What is most commonly known from the madhab of Imam Ahmad is this opinion. And they use the evidence, the proof of this that we mentioned, the hadith where the Prophet said before Fajr, and the Prophet said during the night. And what is apparent from these wordings is that this must be done every day. Yes, look, before Fajr happens every day, during the night happens every day. So what's apparent from this is that every night this must be done before Fajr. Yes, because yani every night is independent. Every day, each day is separate. And this is why if some of your fasting is corrupt and not accepted, it doesn't affect the other days. Yani if somebody breaks his fast during the day for no reason, of course this is from the major sins. Yes, now obviously his fasting on that day is corrupt. He has to make that day up again. Does that affect any of the other 29 days or the 28 days? No, it doesn't, because all days are separate and independent of each other. So the scholars say because that is the case, these scholars, the majority, then he must fast every single day with a new intention. And this is also opinion of Ibn Baz rahimahullah and the Lajna ad-Da'imah. Okay. Also these scholars, they say that basically during the night you are allowed to do what? During the night of Ramadan you're allowed to eat and drink and have intimate relations with your spouse. Yes, you can do everything that breaks your fast. So that is actually interrupting the flow of your fast. So that's another intellectual reason they give, that you must make it every night, the intention. However, the correct opinion that we mentioned is that one intention is enough, the opinion of the Malikiyya. Okay, as long as he doesn't break that intention by traveling, or if he is ill, or if a woman is menstruating, and so on and so forth. And this is like the person, for example, he makes an intention at the beginning of his salah, and then he forgets, and then he becomes unaware of his intention. Yes, heedless of his intention. And he hasn't broken and cut his intention during the salah, no. But he's become unaware. He's made the intention at the beginning of the salah and he's forgotten about it until he finishes the salah. Yes, what do we say? We say that this salah is, everybody says this salah is correct. Same with fast month of Ramadan, it's one ibadah. The month is together. So you made that intention at the beginning of Ramadan. Now, that intention will carry on and it remains until the end of Ramadan unless you cut it. Okay, you might think, what's the big deal? Yes, why are we going into so much detail about this issue? And how will this ever be beneficial for us? The scholars mention thamarat al-khilaf, the fruits of this differing. They give you an example. Let's say a person, he goes in Ramadan for whatever reason. Yes, he falls asleep before Maghrib, and he wakes up with the adhan of Fajr. Is his fasting correct or not? So obviously the scholars that say that one intention at the beginning of Ramadan is enough, they say yes, his fasting is correct. As for the scholars that say no, he must make intention for every single day before Fajr during the night, then they will say no, this person's fasting is not correct, so he has to withhold now from eating and drinking and everything that breaks your fast, and he must also make up that day because he didn't make the intention during the night. Okay, another issue here is, let's say, for example, the scholars have mentioned, this is niyya mu'allaqah, yani a niyya which is hanging, intention which is hanging. What do we mean by that? Let's say a person goes to sleep on the 30th night of Sha'ban. He's very tired, he's come back from work, and he said, I'm going to sleep. I don't know if it's Ramadan, tomorrow could be Ramadan, it hasn't been announced yet. I'm going to sleep with the intention that if it is Ramadan tomorrow, then my intention is that I'm fasting Ramadan. Yes? He wakes up the next day and he finds out it's Ramadan and he fasts. Now, is his fasting correct and is it accepted? Then the ulama again have differed on this issue. Okay. One opinion is that his fasting doesn't count because he didn't make the intention during the night. Okay. He was unsure. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, La siyama liman lam yafridhu min al-layl. Yani yafrid means jazm. Yani a person has to be in an intention, you have to be certain and firm. This person didn't have a certain and firm intention. Okay, so and he's doubtful. And he is doubtful, so he didn't make a firm intention during the night to fast. So his fasting is not correct. His fasting is not correct. Now, Shaykh Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen rahimahullah is of the different opinion. He said your fasting is correct. That's the opinion of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah also, who said that basically you withhold the rest of the day and you don't have to make up that day. Now, other scholars say you have to make up that day and your fasting is not correct. From them, Shaykh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili. Okay. But here, Shaykh Uthaymeen rahimahullah, when opposing this, he said, okay, so now if a person at the end of Ramadan, it's at the end of Ramadan, a person goes to sleep. He's completed 29 days of Ramadan. Tomorrow is supposed to be the 30th of Ramadan. Yes? And he goes to sleep with the intention that if tomorrow is Ramadan, I continue to fast. If tomorrow is Eid, then I'm going to do Eid. All of the scholars here agree that if he wakes up tomorrow and it's Ramadan and he fasts Ramadan, it's accepted. Okay. So these scholars say, but you say, hey, it is accepted. So why now do you say at the beginning of Ramadan, if he goes to sleep with this intention that if tomorrow is Ramadan, then I'm fasting. If tomorrow is not Ramadan, then I'm not fasting. And you say that if he fasts, if he says, if it becomes clear this Ramadan, he fasts, you say it's not accepted. Isn't this guy hesitant and this guy is also hesitant? And these scholars, they say, yes, they're both hesitant. They're both hesitating. But there's a difference between the two. At the end of Ramadan, he goes to sleep that he's fasting. He's been fasting all of Ramadan. So his intention is fasting. But he's hesitating in breaking his fast for Eid. Yes? Yes, it does, yes. And in the first scenario, at the beginning of Ramadan, no, he goes to sleep not fasting. So he is unsure about fasting. And his intention is doubtful about fasting. In the second scenario, no, he is doubtful about breaking his fast. So the asal is he's fasting. And in the situation at the beginning of Ramadan, the asal is he's not fasting. So there's a difference between the two, and you cannot make the two the same. Huh? So this is their arguments for those scholars that say that this fasting is not accepted and it will not do. And as I mentioned, the opinion of Shaykh Islam al-Taymiyyah and the opinion of Al-Shaykh al-Uthaymeen rahimahullah is that say that this is acceptable, and he withholds as soon as he finds out, and he just completes the day, and he doesn't have to make up that day because this is all he could do, and the niyyah is built upon knowledge, and he did not have that knowledge until the next day, and when he had that knowledge, he did what he had to do, and you cannot make him do that fast again. Tayyib? Okay. The next point is, dear brothers and sisters, from this hadith, scholars have mentioned, is that niyyah has to be jazima. It has to be firm niyyah. It has to be a niyyah which is firm. So for example, I'll give you a scenario. A person is traveling, is sitting in his hotel room, and during the night he says, oh, shall I fast tomorrow? Shall I not fast? I'm traveling. I don't have to fast. Shall I fast tomorrow? Shall I not fast? And he keeps thinking like this, and the adhan for Fajr goes. Khalas. Cannot fast now. Cannot fast. Yes, okay, because he didn't make a firm intention to fast. He didn't make a firm intention to fast. Okay, and niyyah means that your heart is firmly attached to what you are going to do. And shak, doubt, or taraddud, any being hesitant, it opposes that. And it opposes being firm. Okay. Now, okay, the next point is, if somebody makes an intention to break his fast is broken. Okay, his fast is broken. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. What did he intend? He intended to break his fast. So I'll give you another scenario. A person is traveling. He's coming back from Makkah to Medina, coming back to his home. He's traveling. He's fasting. Yes. And halfway into the journey, he says, you know what, I'm traveling. Khalas, I've broken my fast. That's it. I'm done. I can't fast anymore. It's too difficult. Inshallah, I'll make it up another day, which is allowed for him. No problem. The fact that he's traveler, he's allowed to break the fast. Whether it's difficult for him, whether it's not, what's better or not, that's another situation we can look at later. But the fact that he's traveling, he's allowed to break his fast, whether it's difficult or easy for him, it doesn't matter. He's allowed to break his fast, yeah? So he's made the intention to break the fast. And he says, you know what, when I stop at the next petrol station, gas station, service station. I'm going to get myself a drink and a bag of crisps, and I'm going to eat. He gets to the service station, and he finds out that basically there's nothing there that he likes. And he says, "Oh, no, forget it. I'm just going to I'm going to complete my fast." No, that's too late. It is now too late, because he broke his fast. He had the intention, firm intention, to break his fast when he did. So if somebody during the day of Ramadan makes that intention to break his fast, then he has broken his fast. Okay? He's made that firm intention. But there's a difference between this. Now I'll give you a situation. This was the first person. Second person is also coming back from Makkah to Medina, coming along, and he says, he looks at the signpost and he says, what do you call it, where they show the distance, how long. He says, okay, next service station is 20 kilometers. You know what? I'm going to break my fast. I'm going to break my fast when I get to the service station. Now, I'm going to break my fast when I get to the service station. Okay? Now, he gets to the service station. Sorry, just 1 second. Okay, yes. So when I get to the service station, I'm going to break my fast. He gets to the service station. He says, you know what? No, I freshened up now. I'm not going to break my fast. I'm going to continue. Then his fast is okay. Why? Because he still hasn't made the intention that he's broken the fast. So there's a difference between these two people. First one says that I've broken my fast. When I get to the service station, I'm going to get myself some food and drink and eat and drink. He gets there, there's nothing there, nothing that he likes. He says, okay, I'm going to complete my fast. Can't do it. You've already made the intention to break your fast. Second person says, I am going to break my fast when I get to the service station. He still hasn't made that firm intention that he's broken his fast. I'm going to do it. He gets there and he changes his mind. Huh? It's fine, no problem. He can continue. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, وَلِكُلِّ مْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى, for everyone is that which he intended, and he did not intend to break his fast. He hasn't made that intention to break his fast. Okay. The next point is, couple of points. We've got 2-3 points left, very short ones. I will finish inshallah in 5 minutes. A person who during the day of Ramadan, he is hesitant about breaking the fast or not breaking the fast. He says, shall I continue fasting or shall I break my fast? Shall I continue fasting or shall I break my fast? Here, again, there's a difference of opinion. But the correct opinion is, and the opinion of the majority of the scholars, that his fast is still valid. So if during the day of Ramadan you get ill, you're not feeling well, you say, shall I break my fast? Shall I not break my fast? Shall I break my fast? Shall I not break my fast? This doesn't harm your fasting. Why? Because your fasting is there with the yaqeen. And your yaqeen cannot be removed with just shak, with the doubt and taraddud and being hesitant. Okay? Now, because you haven't made a firm intention. So just shak and shall I fast, shall I not, shall I continue, shall I break it, shall I continue? It doesn't affect your fasting. As long as you don't make the intention that you've broken your fast. If somebody now says, you know what, khalas, I've broken my fast. Oh, no, I'm going to continue. No, it's too late. It's too late. You in your heart, you made that intention, you've broken your fast. Now don't say, I'm going to continue. As soon as you said and you made that intention, you broke your fast, it's broken. Huh? So this is the position of the majority of the scholars, that taraddud, shak, taraddud, yani being hesitant in breaking your fast during the day of Ramadan, it doesn't affect your fasting unless you make the intention to break your fast. Okay, let's say somebody makes an intention earlier on during the night, like after Isha, straight after Isha makes an intention to fast. Then after that, till Fajr is eating and drinking, perhaps he has relations with his wife and so on and so forth, yes? Does that nullify his initial intention made after Isha? No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because he's allowed to do these things. He's allowed to do these things, and there's no proof to say otherwise. There's no proof to say otherwise. Now, okay, I think we'll stop here. Inshallah, we'll continue on Tuesday. Bi-idhnillahi jalla wa ala. So these were some very important points connected to niyyah as it relates to obligatory fasts. As for fasting which is voluntary, then inshallah we'll take it next lesson along with other hadith. So I hope that is clear from what we have taken today. If you have any questions or anything you would like to ask, we have up to 5 minutes max. Anything connected to today's lesson or to do with Ramadan in general. And if not, then we shall call it a day and inshallah continue next lesson, which is on Tuesday bi-idhnillah at the same time. Tuesday at the same time. طيب inshallah wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.